I knew where everything was inside, but not out here. Keep going? All right. Hi, everybody. So welcome to Tuesday Talks. We're going to talk all about fun stuff to do this summer. And bear with us if it's a little glary. I know it's hot and sunny, but we are enjoying this beautiful Texas weather. So, all right, let's start. I thought we'd start out and talk about all the special needs specific things, and then we can kind of branch out from there and talk about some of the non-special needs specific things. We can talk about camps, vacations, all kinds of fun stuff. And if there's anything specific you want to know, just say the word. Okay. All right. All right. So you have probably heard of Morgan's Wonderland.
Yes.
Have you guys been to Morgan's Wonderland?
No, not yet.
Okay. So Morgan's Wonderland is awesome. It's fantastic. They just opened this last weekend was the water park. Now you guys do not have a wheelchair right now. Do you guys ever need a wheelchair?
No.
No. Okay. Just for the folks at home that may be wondering, so the way that the water park works, I've done some research. I haven't been since it just opened. I haven't checked it out yet. But the water park has 5 lagoons, which are, so they're calling them lagoons, but they're basically splash pads. One of the 5 splash pads is actually warm water. So I guess a lot of splash pads around town are just kind of the cool water. And so a lot of kids that have some of the temperature issues, that can actually cause pain and cramps and things like that. So there is one that is specifically warm water, which is great. And then in addition to the 5 splash pads, there's also a river, they call it a rock and river boat ride, I think is what the actual name is. It's supposed to be 5 minutes long. And I can't remember how many people it holds, but holds quite a few, and it just kind of goes on a ride around a jungle scene. There's supposed to be jungle sounds, animal sounds, all kinds of jungle scenery to look at, and it's just kind of a little 5-minute ride that you go on. For the wheelchairs, though, what they do is they do not actually want people to bring their own wheelchair. So, and you'll have to have your own wheelchair to get there if you need a wheelchair. But then they don't want people taking their own wheelchairs into the water because they don't want to be responsible for any damage that might happen if the wheelchairs get wet. So they have what's called a wheelchair valet. They have 3 different kinds of wheelchairs. They have the typical wheelchair that you see everywhere, straight back, straight legs, and you just kind of push it. So they have those. They have the tilt and space, which it's not fully supported, so like a lot of the tilt and space that we'll see with kids, you'll have lots of leg braces and arm braces. It looks like there are a few things that you can add on to it that they do have available there, but it's not going to be molded to your child like a lot of the tilt and spaces are. And then they also have one that actually has a hydraulic system that looks like it can actually be powered and moved, which I don't know how that works in the water, but they say it does, so I will believe them. And then they also say that they have bags, special waterproof bags that they can use to put around ventilators, oxygen tanks, and things like that, so that those do not have to worry about getting wet, which is great.
Do you have to pay for that?
It's all free. So any special needs child gets into the water park as well as Morgan's Wonderland completely free. Special needs adults as well, not just child. So anybody that is there with the special needs individual does have to pay. But you do not have to pay to rent the wheelchair. That is part of the water park. However, they do not have an infinite number of wheelchairs. It's first come, first serve, and they do not have it where you can reserve them ahead of time. So that's one of the things that I would imagine the first few weekends, maybe even all the summer, if wheelchairs are necessary for your child, you might want to wait till next summer when you know a little bit more about crowds. I wouldn't want to go on a crowded day, have my kid all excited for the water park, and then get there to find out there's no wheelchairs. So just a heads up on that one. But actually, while we're talking about kind of theme parks and water parks, I guess we can kind of jump ahead. We'll come back to the special needs stuff. A lot of people like to take trips to go to Six Flags, Fiesta Texas, all the other big amusement parks all over Texas, which are super fun, and everybody likes to go to them. However, when you go with a special needs child, it can be quite a different adventure. Some of the things that we like to point out for people that want to do that are to know your bathroom situations, especially if you have a large child still in diapers. Going into a typical bathroom at a theme park is not conducive to changing a toilet or changing a diaper for an 8-year-old. So they usually have at least one family bathroom in every theme park. Some have multiples. But usually online, you can find the maps, you can figure all that out, and you'll know where they are before you get there. So we definitely suggest people look ahead and know where things are. Also, another good thing to do is to call ahead for theme parks. Heat is a big issue in Texas. If it has heat intolerances, find out about shade, find out about any kind of air-conditioned areas. Some rides in some parks might actually have air conditioning if they're an enclosed ride. Sometimes there's just water rides that you can go on to cool off, but kind of know where the cooler places are so that you know how to go take a break. You can also find out if they have early hours. Some places will actually open early on certain days for special needs, which is great. It used to be called Hawaiian Falls in Pflugerville.
Yes.
It's no longer Hawaiian Falls. It is now called Typhoon, Texas. So,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole long story behind that. But yeah, so the Hawaiian Falls had 2 days every summer that were called Champions Days, where they would open early in the morning for special needs kids and their families. There is still a Hawaiian Falls in Waco that does that. Typhoon, Texas does not have anything that I have found yet that's special for special needs. I'm still looking. If I find anything, I'll post it online to let people know. But as far as right now, I don't think they have anything special. Schlitterbahn's the same way. They don't have special hours or anything like that for special needs kids. If you're in the San Antonio area, though, there is the zoo. San Antonio Zoo has a special pass. So they have kind of a member. You can join to be a member with the San Antonio Zoo. And if you are a member, you can actually get early admission to the park before the public is let in. I think it's at least 1 hour early. It might even be 2 hours early. And a lot of times, if you really need, like if you have sensory issues, if you just have a kid that's got some complex needs and the crowds are just too much, you can call ahead and talk to their sales office, let them know what's going on. And a lot of times, they'll make a special exception to let you in with the members groups. So just kind of a little trick to do. Houston also has a great zoo. I don't know specifically if they have the members or if they'll let you in early, but it never hurts to try and ask because they do have a great zoo. A lot of families go to Houston for medical stuff as well, and the Houston Zoo is really close to Texas Children's. So you can actually see your doctors and then walk down the street and go to the zoo, which is fantastic. So that's some of the non-special needs stuff we'll kind of loop back around. So I want to talk about some of the special need things in and around Austin. Story times are a big thing. Most public libraries have story times, and most of them will offer a variety of sensory story times and ASL story times, as well as some that they'll just call special needs story times. Some of them don't necessarily have special needs story times, but they have toddler story times that they will sometimes kind of modify the toddler story time to also work with wheelchairs, because it's really more about getting all the strollers and the wheelchairs and everything around. So sometimes they'll work out those. So most of the public libraries do that in and around Austin and Round Rock, Georgetown, all of them. Bookstores do it. The Thinkery does it. There's a few other Kaleidoscope does it. Yeah, there's quite a few places all around town that have story time. Not all of them have special needs story times, but most of them have story times. Usually they're free.
I think they have the ASL.
The ASL at Kaleidoscope? Perfect, yeah. So which is fantastic that they do that in so many places. If you're at Kaleidoscope, they also have, I want to say it's monthly, but it might be more frequently during the summer. I didn't double check the schedule. But they have craft days where you can actually pay, I think it's between $5 and $10 for the supplies, and then you go and you'll do a craft. Like they usually do one for Father's Day. They'll do different themes each month, and they are super accommodating. So we've actually taken our really complex daughter there with her big old wheelchair, and they have just gone above and beyond to make sure that she could get up to the table and that she was able to participate. So they are fantastic with special needs. All you have to do is let them know ahead of time, and they will make sure it works. They're a fantastic group. We love Kaleidoscope. There's also a toy store in Georgetown. I don't remember the name of it. It's on the square in Georgetown. I'm going to say it's called like Wonderful Things or Fun Things or something like that. But they also are really accommodating. They have, I don't know if they have the craft, but they have in the back of the toy store all these tables set up and it's set up so that if there's a toy or a game, like board games, let's say, that you really want to try but you don't want to buy it, you can actually go back there and play. You can hang out in the back of this toy store all day if you want and play every board game that they have, see which ones your kids like, which ones your kids don't like, and that way you're not buying, you know, all these board games and then going home and never playing them because your kid doesn't like them, which we've all done that. We've all spent way too much money on toys that never get played with. So yeah, that's actually a really cool thing that you can, you know, use your toys. There's also a place off of 183, not quite to Cedar Park, but kind of the Duval area, I believe, called the Toy Brewery.
I've heard of it.
Yes, and it's kind of the same idea, but instead of just playing in the back room, it's kind of like a library where you go and you check the toy out. And then you can take it home with you can play with it, you can see if your kid likes it before you make the investment of actually buying the toys.
Yeah.
So just kind of some fun ways to save a little money and make sure that your kids actually like the toys before you invest all of them. Yeah. I can't tell you how many toys have never been played with that are stacked up in our house. So yeah, I know how that goes. Some of the other fun stuff. There are plays. Georgetown Palace Theater, actually, they have a program. They have actually a couple of different programs depending on the age group. I think they have like a middle school, maybe an elementary, and maybe even an older kids. Mostly it focuses on kids with autism, but they are acting workshops. And so they'll get these kids with autism out there and they'll teach them how to act. And sometimes with the autistic kids, you'll just see them really come out of their shells and they really take to the stage and they love it, and it's a cool program that they do there. And then of course at the end of the workshops they usually have a big play and a performance for the families, which is pretty cool. Zach Scott Theater, which is here in Austin, for some of their bigger productions they will actually have ASL interpreters. So that's kind of a cool thing for anybody who needs that. Some of the other fun stuff around town, Exceptional Saturdays is a really cool kind of musical jam session. So it's out towards Lakeway off of 620. It's called Hudson on Mercer is the place that actually does it. And local musicians will go out to Hudson on Mercer on Saturdays. It's every Saturday at 10 o'clock, totally free for families. And any kid with special needs is welcome to come in. They'll pass out a whole bunch of instruments and the kids just play and jam, and it's so much fun and lots of crazy noises.
It's a restaurant? Or?
It's a bar, restaurant. It's a typical Austin live music kind of place.
Cool.
But yeah, it's very cool, and you have to just take 620 out toward, it's not quite all the way to Lakeway, but it's out near Lakeway. Yeah, it's right there on the lake, lots of fun. Everybody gets to play their own instruments, totally free, and you never know who's going to show up. You know, different local musicians show up every weekend to entertain the kids, which is pretty cool. So that's one fun thing. Jump Street in Cedar Park has special hours on the first Saturday of every month. So it sounds like you already know about that one. Jump Street's always fun to go jump and burn some extra energy.
Mount Playmore.
Mount Playmore is also on the list. Yes, Mount Playmore every third Saturday is open from 9 to 10 for families with special needs. So yeah, Mount Playmore is on here. We also have Chuck E. Cheese, which Chuck E. Cheese started doing 2 hours early on the first Sunday of every month.
They started already?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I think the Austin one started, I want to say in April, maybe May. Yeah, so it's only been very shortly, but yeah, they have finally started. I know that the Austin one, I think the one that's actually on 45 definitely started, and then the one that's in the Arbor Walk maybe is starting this month.
Okay.
But yeah, they're both up and going. So yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is going. Easter Seals, you guys, it looks like he's older than 3, so you're probably already out of the ECI. But for anybody at home that has kids 3 and under, ECI has, Easter Seals has ECI playgroups open for the public. They post on their website the different times, but they have an indoor playground, which is fantastic, so it's not out in this wonderful heat that we all love here in Austin so much. Vela is another nonprofit here in town. It sounds like you're familiar with them. They do lots of great education for families, but then they also have a family fun day. Is it 3 or 4 times a year? I think
Why?
it's
It used to be 4, but this time they're not going to do anything during summer.
Okay, yeah, I think they changed it to 3. Yeah.
Right. So So they're gonna have one for Halloween.
For Halloween. Okay, but yeah, lots of fun. A very cool part. We love Bella, so yeah, definitely if you're around, that's a fun thing to go to. Movies, so AMC, which is way down near Barton Creek, which is super far to drive, but they do have on the second and fourth Tuesday and Saturday of every month they have the sensory showings. And Alamo for All is doing movies now for sensory movies. They have, let me make sure I say this right, they have all showings starting before 2 o'clock on Tuesday at all the Alamos, and then also there are additional shows on the weekends at the Lakeline and Slaughter Lane for sensory. So fantastic. Alamo's much more convenient to drive to than Barton Creek, unless you're down south. If you're down south, Barton Creek is great. Another great resource for people to know about is Round Rock Parks and Recreation. They have stuff all year. They do camps, they do adapted sports, different basketball and soccer. They have all kinds of different adapted things. They have the Play for All Park, which is, as of, I believe, about a week ago, construction has officially started for the big expansion, but they are trying to keep it open as long as possible. But yeah, check out the Round Rock Parks and Recreation website. They always have something fun coming up. They have the trunk
They
or
just
treat.
started also support groups.
Did they really?
Yes.
I didn't
And I
know
think
that.
it's the last Sunday of every month. And I have it.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. That's cool. Are they doing it at the Clay Madsen Center?
No, they do it at the library.
Oh. Huh. I didn't know. Okay. Very cool. I will check that out. I didn't know that.
It's called All Abilities Support Group.
All abilities. And it's actually through.
And
the
it's this
park.
Sunday at 4 o'clock at the library. This
Very
is
cool.
the first one.
Okay. Oh, they're just starting. This is the first one
Yes.
this week. Okay. Very cool. I will have to go check that out. That's great to know. Awesome. Okay, so one more great thing for Round Rock Parks and Rec. Yeah, I always tell people this is like the best town. Round Rock is so supportive of the special needs
totally.
community. They're amazing. So that's fantastic. There are also lots, in addition to Round Rock, lots of the YMCA's have the SNAP programs. It used to be Special Needs Aquatic Program, but I think that they actually call it Special Needs Adapted Programs now because it's not just the swimming. It's all, they have basketball, they have kickball, softball, and all kinds of different things that they do, all adapted, which is fantastic. So that's called SNAP, and all the different YMCA's have different schedules. So some of them might do one sport, or some of them might do all of them. I know that the YMCA down on Southwest Parkway in South Austin has like everything. They are on it. I don't know exactly what all the Round Rock one has, but yeah, all of them have their own different versions
I've
of
heard
it.
something about it.
I
The
think,
one in Round Rock.
I think
it
it has
was
at least
Friday.
the water, but I'm not sure what else it has. Yeah, but I think they have at least the aquatic one. I'll have to check out to see which ones have the different things. There's also, this is kind of cool, we actually just heard about this. There is a team called Blades, which is a sled hockey team here in Austin, which is super cool. So I guess there's also an adult league, which sounds like they are pretty competitive and like serious players and have trophies and like do awesome. But then they do have a youth league as well. But I think the competitive adult players are actually the ones that are coaching the kids. And so the kids are not only getting an adapted sport, but I think that they're getting coached by other special needs adults, which is pretty cool. Yeah, very cool. One World Karate has some great special needs programs. Team Bravo has great special needs gymnastics. There is To Dance to Dream. I'm not sure if you've heard of them or not. They are all over Austin. They have fantastic dance programs. They also have To Ride to Dream, where they do hippotherapy with the horses. And then they also have To Date to Dream, I believe, is the respite program.
Yeah.
So parents can actually get out every now and then, which is so important.
Tonight.
Is that tonight?
Isn't it tonight to drink? After date?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was tonight. I was like, oh, why is it
No,
tonight?
2 nights. I think it's 2 nights instead of 2 days.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
I think it is tonight.
I think Emerson Academy was gonna start something like that, like a
Which one?
respite. Emerson Academy in Brown
Oh,
Road
okay.
on Yates and Links.
Okay.
Right there.
They were going to start a respite program
Oh,
too.
they did that in April,
Okay.
and I think they were gonna do it every second Friday of the month.
Now
Or first
Emerson
Friday.
is it an autistic program, or is it all special needs?
It's all special.
It's all special needs. Okay, cool.
But I'm not sure if they still do it.
Okay,
They will
I will
do
check
that.
into it. All right, I will check into it, and I will add that to the list if it is. Some of the other groups around Austin, there's a group called CPALS, so CP for cerebral palsy, but then they use the P to make out PALS. They target CP families, but there's lots of other families that join them as well. But they have play groups from time to time. They used to be pretty regular, but I think ever since they kind of started doing bigger fundraisers and they took a bunch of families to camp, this was their second time to do that. I think around Mother's Day they did their second weekend at camp. But after they started doing that, I think that they've kind of had to shift their focuses a little, so they're not doing their play groups as regularly, but they are still doing stuff. So I would definitely check out their website for upcoming information. There's also a group here in Austin just called Austin Special Needs.
On Facebook.
It's a Facebook group,
And
exactly.
meetup. Yeah.
Yep, and they do meet up, yeah, and they do play groups and different things all around Austin as well. So they're a
They
great
have
group to
a
follow.
support group too.
Yes, they do have a support group as well.
I think it's together with Autism Society.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, because they have the play group, and I think they may have actually been the ones that started the Jump Street thing too.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and they may have even started the Mount Playmore. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they started the Jump Street stuff. So yeah, they're very active. It's a big group. Sounds like you're familiar with it, but anybody at home that's not, check out Special Needs Austin, or Austin Special Needs, sorry, I got that word. Some of the older kids are part of the ARC of Central Texas, and there's different ARCs in different parts of town as well. The ARC of Central Texas does bowling once a week. They have dances with the one in Waco, I think, but different ARCs have different things, but it's usually older kids. But yeah, they have all kinds of fun stuff, so if you have an older kid at home, check out the ARC of whatever area you
What
live in.
they did last year, together with Autism Society, with American Airlines, and Austin Airport,
Mhm.
is that they had a day where you can bring your kid with special needs and pretend that you're gonna go.
Yes, and that is called Wings for Austin.
Yes.
Yes.
We did it. Yeah,
that
we
is
did
for
it.
the travel one. Yeah. So I didn't see the dates, but is it only specific dates?
Last year it was in September, so
It was
I'm
in September, okay.
thinking it's gonna be in September.
Probably
this year.
September again. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they did it just kind of ad hoc or
I
if
think
they always had like a recurring. I wasn't sure. I couldn't.
I
find
think
that
it's the
online.
first time they've done it for a while.
Okay.
And they wanted to start doing it every year.
Okay, which is fantastic because yeah, giving kids an opportunity to practice before you actually try to get there
it
and
was really good.
schedule. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, Wings for Us. I did have that. I didn't have a whole lot of information, so I'm glad you actually know more about it because all I knew was sounds like something interesting. Look into it. That was on my list. Yeah. Also with the travel, so I saw the Wings for Autism, and then there's also a group called Autism on the Seas, which Autism on the Seas is kind of interesting. So it's autism, Down syndrome, and epilepsy, I believe, are the three that they kind of focus on. So it's not just autism, even though they call it Autism on the Seas. And then there's also
It's Royal Caribbean, right?
it's Royal Caribbean. It's also Princess. There's a few different ones that they work
Okay.
with, and it sounds like basically, from what I could understand, I've never used it. We never got to the point where we were ready to try that kind of travel. But from what I understand, you go to book your cruise. Like let's say you want to take a 3-day cruise or a 5-day cruise.
Mm-hmm.
When you book it, if you book it through Autism on the Seas instead of through Royal Caribbean, you can actually select to have the services added to your group. And so it's anywhere from $15 to $25 extra a day for their services, but that's not too bad for a full day of services.
Right.
And it'll give you somebody to kind of help get you around or with communication, and basically they will custom fit a aid to whatever your needs might be. So just kind of cool. There's so Autism on the Seas is the one. It's a for-profit, and then there's also a non-profit that's AW.
Yeah. Diet?
Awitas or something. Yeah, it's but that's a non-profit.
AWADEA.
Yes, Awita.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they got the funds this year.
Right. I don't know that they had the funds, but I think that they were, and it looked like they may actually kind of be working with Autism on the Seas, but I left them a few voicemails and I haven't heard back yet. But it looks like they're trying to kind of get a bunch of people to go on a trip at the same time to
Right.
kind of make it not just, hey, here's these services, but let's do it as a group. So it's probably more affordable, and then you also get to have the social,
Wow.